There's nothing more positive than illuminating the negative. For me, I'm illuminating my negative so when I go back and read it, I have something better to go on. When I was young, growing up in that young southern way, fighting seemed to be part of the day-to-day. I never wore rings because they didn't appeal to me. I knew some rough kids that wore them on their throwing hand, cheap flea market rings, an iron cross or a skull. I never fucked with these guys, but I could certainly hold my own in any fight. I knew that rings could not only destroy a man's face, but destroy a man's hand. I broke every knuckle on my right without their help. And one day, I began to write. It was then that I discovered they make it hard to hold a pen or type on an old machine. But now I wear rings. They make me think twice before I write or fight. Two things I don't really want to do, but feel driven to. Closing time. Hypnotized by the gods. Kill everyone in the bar. Turn the music up loud and dance on the bodies. I think all this stuff to me is about like small details that are life-changing. I remember one time, just one time, in San Francisco, of all places, I saw a leaf fall. I was staring at the leaf, and in that exact moment that followed, I saw it break free and fall to the ground. It was incredible, life-changing. And I remember not being able to explain this particular event and its impact on my life to anyone. That was years ago. Now, I live in a small village on the edge of a forest in the French countryside, and I keep watching, but I have yet to see it again. The miracle of that last moment, the end of a season, and the tiny flight that ended a life. It's really hard to read anything in that book for the simple fact that everything in there is extremely personal. Drinking wine and listening to Mahler's Ninth. Like a fool, I go to the window and look out at the world below. The horn-shaped architecture of the streets, the noise of civilized man bouncing off the buildings and running up the walls, then across the rooftops and out into the stars. A candled cake extinguished just before it's 8. A wished out masterpiece. Just then, I see the large screen TV in the shop window across the street. I open my windows wide, and looking back through the house, I think, if I move the couch and my bed, I'll have a clean flight. I could run for 30 feet, step on the rail, and fly from the windowsill across the street to the shop below. They'd find me smashed into this plasma screen, my blood mixing with it like cum in an ovary. And just for a second, we'd give birth to silence. And by the time they found my flat, Mahler would be finishing his suite. And I would have just written mine. Let's call it a successful suicide.